Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the Pegasus Expedition. In my opinion, this is a fantastic narrative story meets 4X, and you normally don't get these kind of campaigns and such like in 4X games. I remember actually Reach for the Stars back in 1999 or 2001 or so. Kind of had a campaign associated with it, but very few games I think do that nowadays. They're all about like the sandbox experience. But that's very much not what Pegasus Expedition is about. It is very much about the narrative. In fact, it's impossible to divorce it from this. I'm not sure if it even has an option to play as like a normal 4X. And that's very cool. In fact, it's one of the things I've been kind of missing lately is playing more campaign progression type things. Because I feel like it's a lot easier to measure your progress and to know when you can call yourself finished with the game. Or at least a game of it. So we're going to start a new game here. We're going to be playing on normal difficulty. I'm not that experienced with this game. Just did some basic playing to, make sure I know a little bit so I can teach you guys some of the basics that I've already learned. We're going to use all fleet combat mode. The difference of this is whether or not you can have up to 3 fleets parked in a system. And if you move if you move 3 fleets to an enemy system, then combat will be resolved. And the question is whether or not you go 1 fleet at a time or if all 3 fleets of yours can fight against the enemy. So it definitely changes the mechanic. I think it kind of is an attacker's, an offense advantage to be able to use all fleets. So they do say it'll change the balance, but let's go for it. It's more fun that way anyway, and I don't have any idea what the balance impact is, so just chalk everything up to ignorance, which is bliss. All civilizations become either spacefaring or extinct. Alright, I'll let you listen. Oh, well, these are words I should read. The Colossals were threatening Earth, and humanity has little choice but to start seeking refuge elsewhere. The Pegasus Expedition was the attempt to achieve that. 3 powers from Earth sent their best fleets on the expedition, the rest focusing on defending Earth until the expedition would return. I'm going to make an interesting comparison as well. Okay, here's our second in command, really. The Zeus Link fleet sent by the European Union has been put under your command, Director. It is now up to you to make a difference. And now we'll get a little speech from this lady. Grand Admiral Elodie
Officers,
Perron.
soldiers, colleagues. You all know very well why we are here, and what we are about to do soon. First, remember this moment, and remember the stakes. We will risk ourselves on behalf of everything you care about, and everyone you ever knew. And when the time comes, you will be troubled. You will doubt. We all will. At that very moment, remember this. Do your best, do what you can, and it will be enough. It will be enough if anything in our power can be. There's no telling how this is going to end. But in the end, one thing will be certain. That we gave it all we had.
Yeah, very dramatic. I think that it's intended to really tug at you, and in my opinion, it's kind of a good thing to kind of buy into it. Just let yourself enjoy the narrative. I mean, I know that we've all been kind of disappointed by narratives in the past, but so far I've found that this one is, it's good. So this is the new system that we're in, the new galaxy. We have no new system, but also in the new galaxy. This is no longer the Milky Way. We've somehow translocated to a different galaxy. Here is our fleet, and there's a lot we can cover that we will cover soon. But first, I'm just gonna cheat and assign. Oh, we can't assign. Okay. See, I haven't played this that much, but I know that eventually we can assign equipment, and that's a good thing to do. But it looks like because we don't know anything about anything yet, we're just gonna take our fleet. And by the way, this would be more tutorialized if we had turned the all fleets off. The new all fleets attacking thing, it actually bypasses the tutorial messages. So a good comment is if you want to get all the opening, like what to do type messages, turn that off and then start a new gameplay. But we won't. Welcome to the Pegasus Galaxy, Director. This is Ivan Locke, our diplomat. We have a scientist and we have a Minister of the Interior. And then, of course, the Grand Admiral. Pegasus Expedition has now officially begun. A perimeter around the portal has been formed and the main force is being moved through. So far, it's all going according to plan, you could say. So are we the spearhead of the expedition? Yes, we are. How detailed of a plan do we actually have? Not much of one. Very well, what now? Right now, we can't stay around the portal for long, so we need to move into the closest star system to form up. Yes, our recon units are already approaching the Zoka system. In there, we gotta set up some infrastructure, assess the surroundings, start making ourselves permanent. My teams are still on the other side, scientist. Once they come through and set themselves up, we'll start making sense of all the information we should already be collecting. Oh, we are, don't you worry, Dr. Lawrence. That does leave the question of dividing the initial systems between us and our allies. I presume the logistics would demand that... Oh, okay, now we have an interruption here. Grand Admiral Perron. Director. Sorry to interrupt, but we've got an urgent transmission from the recon units in the Zoka system. We do have 3 allies. I guess we'll cover that in a moment. Right now we're being interrupted. Yes, they're interrupting us during an important meeting, so it's probably important. The recon fleet has made contact. Dun dun dun.
It took 9 hours. 9 hours in the Pegasus Galaxy, and we were at war. They didn't fire warning shots. And we weren't going to take it lying down.
And that gives us to the combat, which would be the combat tutorial, but there's no tutorial for us. I will be the tutorial, I guess. Or maybe you are already familiar with the game and you can criticize how poor I am at playing this thing. Yeah, okay. So, we have strategies we can set up. I haven't mastered exactly what is best. I have, like, in my head a way I play it. Whether or not that's optimal or even, like, possibly the worst way of doing it, I don't know. I don't have enough experience to really... I haven't tried enough things, and anyways, it's all still unfamiliar to me. But we can choose different groups and different formations. So we can break up, we have a fixed number of ships. This is all one fleet, I think. And we can split it up into 3, into 2 that are on opposite sides. We can put 6 all around. We can put 4 around, or 4.5 circle. Now, the way you do this, obviously, is going to impact how the engagement goes. So the enemy fleet has presence in Zoka 2 and Zoka 3. As you can see, Zoka 3, Zoka 2. So if we wanted, we could do something like this. I don't know why we would do it this way, but we can just grab anybody on the outside and spin it around, and in theory, we could do something like this. Now, if Group 3 happen to consist of a lot, and I don't know what they consist of, some signs which are carriers, some ballast which are artillery, I think, right? Are these ballast? There's one drone. And then the Ajax is a cruiser, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this sign is the... are these actually frigates? I don't know. So anyways, there's rock, paper, scissors type stuff. There's frigates, there's cruisers, which are more close combat. Then there's carriers and artillery, which are long range things. And so the artillery are going to be able to do damage from different circles into different circles. Alright, probably I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Let's just try to choose something. I think that because we have the numerical advantage here, we're just going to choose to go with 2 groups, and I'm going to try to get... So we need to do this. If we do this, we can't quite get the way... What about 3? Okay, this will be sufficient. So 2 of our groups will attack 1, and the 3rd group will attack the other. Could we actually get all 3? That's funny. We could get all 3 to attack the same one, but we'll do it this way. And we'll have some interrupts, which allow us to use... In this case, we'll be able to use some missiles to soften up the enemy presence in Zoka 2, since 3 will probably be at about equal odds. Now, we can also choose different plans. If we choose to pay some of our minerals, which, yeah, you can guess that this is your resources. Minerals is probably the closest thing to money, and rare earth is probably the closest thing to, in general, games have minerals, or like whatever the metals or whatever it is. It's your... No, the item, the strategic resource. Then we have population, energy. We'll get into all that later. But we can spend some of our resources, 500 crystals, to do a little bit better of a plan. We have galactic reputation. We can choose another. This is another dimension of playing with things. Now let's just stick with neutral and cautious for this first one because I believe we can win that very easily. Another thing on the bottom, you can do stand your ground, which means we really don't want to lose the system, or even run them down, which means that after the battle, first of all, they won't have this retreat threshold of 25%, and then we also do more damage to them, but this will kind of damage our galactic reputation. Eventually people are gonna, we may end up trying to be diplomatic, we may, just simply not want everyone to want to hate us, so we have to manage that as well. But I think this looks good enough. Let's just go ahead and hit start and then immediately missile those guys. You can slow down the game up here. I don't know if there's hotkeys for this. I haven't seen it. So we're evenly matched, but let's get some missiles in there and another set of missiles. And hopefully that will be sufficient to help us win. Victory is already imminent over here. And with one fleet, we only have 2 missiles, so we've already used them both. Victory's imminent. And you can see that they're dropping very quickly. Our ships were taking a little bit of damage, especially in the battle where obviously was the most... But they are just getting crushed, especially in Zoka 3. And there we go. That's the end of the battle. So we did take some damage on some of our ships, but looks like, it was pretty successful. And now this all happened. That was basically the cutscene of us being in the middle of that meeting. And now it's like, oh, okay. What happened? What the hell is going on over there? We made contact with something. It appears sentient, perhaps somewhat humanoid, and operates heavily armed space vessels. They fired on sight, and we returned fire. We destroyed a small unit in the Zoka system, probably a garrison. So, whatever they are, we are now at war with them. What would you do if an unidentified fleet appeared out of nowhere in your star system? They must be terrified right now. I just hope we didn't start something irreversible. So it's interesting that comment comes from the Minister of the Interior instead of the diplomat. It is unfortunate, but I don't see how we could have done anything differently. I really don't think that you can second guess a first contact. This is now Tortuga speaking, so let's just say first contacts are a messy affair. Our only first contact experience is based on the Colossals, and they never negotiated at all. That's all the experience that is all we've experienced so far. By the way, the Colossals, I've seen this comparison made that it's kind of a joke about Terra Invicta, that the Colossals are like the aliens from that, since we're being pushed out of Earth. It's like, and this is basically Project Exodus on their Let's Escape to the Stars. It doesn't quite map, but it's an amusing comparison. Okay, so what now? We need to investigate stuff, yada yada. You can read this. I'll probably click through a little bit faster at this point, but you can see that there's a huge narrative built into this game. Zoka is now secure. And we need to capture more territory, really. Okay, so Zoka, what can we do? I don't think we have access to building system stuff yet. So we can't do anything there. I think it's basically just time for us to end the turn. We have... Yeah, okay, so our garrison fleet will eventually build up. As you can see, the garrison has this little triangle icon on it. Our fleet is relatively intact, actually. If we really wanted to, we could spend 2 turns repairing it. But it can't move or defend during those 2 turns, and we'll probably need it to do something else. So we will not do that. So we'll just end the turn. Alright, our allies have come through. We have the 1st Expeditionary Fleet, which is the Americans, and then we have the Daros, which are some fleet representing the Middle East, it looks like. Or at least that's the way I've interpreted the like attire and the naming conventions, etc. But here, enter Chapter 1, The Shiny New Horizon.
This was it. We were here with very limited time and nearly endless pressure from home. For better or worse, this was our final plan. We would soon get to see how it would play out.
Alright, back to us, I think, or back to a meeting. Allies have now moved through. We didn't get very good planets, but we'll say very good for them. Yeah, so our planets are toxic, unstable, hot, radioactive. We need to get a foothold, pleasant or not, so we basically need to establish some kind of outposts. And that means that we're going to have to keep infringing upon the existing territory of whoever we are attacking, whoever we're in conflict with. So they appear weak, and the scientist, strangely enough to me, just a side comment, is like happy about that. I mean, I guess everyone is kind of like desperate. Humankind is desperate for some kind of reprieve. But out of all these people, I would have expected the scientist to be the most sympathetic. But I guess that's really just a stereotype. So, okay, do we really need to expand this pass, or it certainly wouldn't? No, it certainly wouldn't. We got to push ahead. So very well, give them the go ahead because we have no choice. And yes, it does mean more battles. Okay, so the second wave is through. We don't control where they come in. They're actually just going and doing it themselves. And this gives us a little bit more experience with conflict. In this one, we are going to fight it'll be a very dominant battle. You can see that we're at like 2-to-1 odds. 156 to, like 70. Now, of course, we don't want to take as many casualties as we take very bad, right? We want to minimize the casualties we're taking. I think in this case, we should also go for 3 battle groups. Ooh, no, maybe not. So the question is... Okay, so in Corin 5, which is down here, they have... Mostly, it looks like... Left click to focus the battle group on the target plane. Okay, it's just going to focus on the... But if I'm reading this correctly, what are the... Ajax. Yeah, these are the cruisers. So we might benefit from leaving this one alone, actually, because Corin 5... This is just the first time I'm really trying to piece this together, by the way. Corin 5 doesn't have that much in the way of artillery. Actually, you know what? It kind of does. They all have artillery. So that's the one thing we want to avoid, is just leaving artillery alone. Alright, let's split into 4 instead, and I'm sure that we're going to we'll be able to find a way to get all these guys involved. Okay, maybe a little bit more. I think we got... Okay, there's a smidge there where 2 of them can converge on there, and then 1 to each of these. So because our fleet power is like double theirs, I suspect that this is the best way for us to like very quickly neutralize them. Now, the commanding station, defense station, is in Coron, so that's here. We could also just go for that. That's tough. 3 is probably the weakest of mine, so let me see if I can get 3 to go there. Yeah, we'll let 3 go there because they have taken the most casualties already. Now, I'm still going to stick with this cautious advance, and I'd also like to still stick with the morality neutral. We have pretty good galactic reputation. At some point, we're going to need to, dig into the bank there, and by any means necessary, but obviously it's not necessary here. Let me go slow speed so we can choose the missiles right away. And where do I want to missile? I think that Coron 5 is the place I want to missile, in fact. Because that one has... Well, actually it has less number of people. So maybe let me go for Corin 3. Where's Corin 3? This one. Okay, so let's go for the top. Yeah, okay. And we have 2 fleets here, so we're actually going to have 2 missiles going there right away. And we can also send a missile... we'll win that one pretty quickly. I guess we'll send one to Corin 5 as well, as soon as we have a second chance. Okay, Corin 5. Okay, self-destruct sequence has been initiated in the command center. That's very bad for whoever's in the command station. Okay, I just think it just went off and destroyed some of our ships. But now that it's... Oh, it's not down yet. Oh, I'm looking at this as the command station one. It's almost down. We've lost a few ships, though. Winning the battle, winning the battle, winning the battle, and then we're uncontested there. So it looks like we've taken that out. Oof. Keep getting blasted, though. Alright, we'll go back up to normal speed now. Victory is imminent, and we're winning the battle. We must not have any missiles left. We used all 4 already. I think that's true, too, yeah. So, just wait for the battle to finish at this point. We're definitely going to win, but we took a lot more casualties than I expected there. I must not have played that one correctly. I unfortunately just don't know how I could have played it better. This might have been a good chance for us to run it down, and I didn't do it. Because we would have preferred to minimize the amount of troops that are retreating from there. Alright, here's another battle. This is supposed to be like... I think that the first one is supposed to be one you fight. And then this is one you can auto-resolve, which I will do. Because it's, 100 to 4. So, not a big deal. And then last one is going to be one that potentially you can even flee. I don't want to flee though. I'm going to go ahead and fight this, and we're going to do... For the first time, we're going to actually spend money on a plan. I'm going to do surgical strikes, which will give us our plus 10%. And I'm also going to do by any means necessary. Why? Because we have 2 nukes with this one fleet, and I can see that I want them to be in a half circle. 3? Isn't 3 and a half circle? Yeah, perfect. So we're going to nuke each of these places. Now we don't. It looks like we're very frigate heavy, so we might just do something like this, and then nuke Babid 2. Okay, let me see which one is. Babid 3 looks better defended, so let's nuke Babid 3. Okay. We're going to do it this way. So, by any means necessary, surgical strikes will spend some minerals on the attack, and we're going to just gang up on one side while we nuke the other. Let's see if that works. I don't know. And go slow because we have to watch the nukes, of course. So we'll launch a missile there and a nuke there. And then all of our nukes and missiles from here on in will probably just go to Babid. There's the nuke, I assume. Let's look at Babid 3, see how they're doing. And... oh my god, we killed almost everything. That's insane. That is really something. I'm going to send a missile over there. We're not even winning this battle. Despite all of that, we're barely winning this battle. Okay, we'll nuke here. We have a second nuke. We might as well use it. And we'll missile there. Oh my gosh, their fleet is completely destroyed. We probably should have missiled here so we could actually win. Like, we're only taking on half their fleet and we're still having a hard time. But let's go ahead and go up to normal speed. I don't think there's any more I can do here. Okay, we have uncontested. Yeah, we definitely did a lot of damage to them. So, good for us. We could have run them down as well. Again, wow, that battle was actually extremely successful. But that's what happens when you employ nukes, and we just took a huge 10% hit on our diplomatic rating. Okay, now that we have a bit more than the Zoka system, we can use it. Some humorous fluff. Feel free to pause the video, go back and read through this. Or, I should also mention this is kind of a spoiler. I don't want to get too far into... I will only go through chapter 1 in this one. Maybe not even chapter 1. I think I'll go through chapter 1, but at some point, if I continue this beyond the first video, we're definitely going to get into spoiler territory. I mean, everything that we're doing here is a spoiler, but just to show gameplay, I think it's impossible not to show the beginning. But I really like the way that the narrative is built up in this. Okay, so now our goal is to build 3 different non-civilian outposts. Zoka is the system that we first attacked into. Zari is the one we entered. It's basically the one right next to the gate, the trans-dimensional gate, the one that traverses through galaxies. And Morum is one of the new ones. So Zoka, what do we want to put on Zoka? Well, the 4X in this, the base building. Every planet has some characteristics: volcanic, weak magnetic field, radiation, these kind of things. And these heavily impact how you're going to interact with the planet. Just like every other 4X game, basically the planet type is going to have a big impact on whether you're going to settle there or what you're going to do with the planet. So we have here a volcanic planet that also has rare earth veins. Each one of these is going to greatly increase the amount of resources we can extract. So it's a no-brainer that you want to turn this into an industrial outpost. The normal industrial outpost is 60, 6, 6, and 20. But this is up, I mean, you can do the math here. I think it's up by 35% for minerals, and it's up by 60% for rare earth minerals, I guess, rare earths, whatever those are. So yeah, you got a huge benefit from the planet if you choose to do resource extraction, which is exactly what we'll do. Zoka 2. This is just a barren planet. It has no benefits, which means that it's not a good planet to use for any of the resource extraction. So we'll go ahead and choose... I'm not sure which one we'll choose yet, but let me go over to Zoka 2 because we might actually choose something different based on what this is. Okay, now this has a 20% increase in the rare earth extraction. It's not that important. Let's go over to Zari first, and this is the one again right next to the entrance, I believe. So we have one which is rocky. Yeah, let's go ahead and build a research place here. And next we'll go over to Zari 1A. This is Desert World. Now Desert Worlds, so we don't have any power going on, no energy. And all we've seen from energy is that it's a number here. When you have a desert planet, the plus 20 or whatever it is that we get, the net benefit of the power plant, it's producing 75, but each one of these is costing 50. It's only producing 75. It would normally produce 100. And I think that there's another mechanic at work here. Let me go to a non-desert planet. Okay, good. Oh, this is hazardous, so extreme colds we can't build here. Okay, let me go to a different planet just so I can try to convince myself that what I'm doing is not insane. Okay, good, barren. So this is plus 20 power. We have 100, 40, and 40. Got it. Okay. So I guess the desert planets require extra power. This goes up by 25%, and the production goes down by 25%. Not really sure why it's a double negative. But anyways, that's just the way it is. So we jump to a different one now. We're in Korun. Let's see what we might want to build here. Okay, ice is even worse. It's a 50% cut, so that we see that this is now minus 70. But basically, energy is something you want to keep positive. And as I think more population comes along, more energy will be used as well. So you want to keep up a reserve. You can see increasing population consumes right now minus 0. So energy is good to have a surplus of. As far as I can tell, it's not something you're collecting and accumulating, but kind of as you'd expect, it's just you're meeting a per turn requirement. Are you generating enough for all the things that are using it? So it's okay to have a negative 70 somewhere as long as everywhere else is positive to compensate for that. But it obviously means that your one base here is probably eliminating the chance for you to get 2 bases somewhere else. So let's not use this ice, even though it has this nice abundant minerals and rare earth stuff. I may end up building there, but for now I'm not going to, because we have the same exact situation in 2 other places that don't have that penalty. So this is obviously a no-brainer. It's got the same 2 really nice benefits. So we'll go ahead and build an industrial complex there. Here we have the same story, not quite as good, but it has the abundant minerals and rare earth, and you can see why we are not going to build on this ice one, because we have plenty of these abundant places that are just, it's just better to build on these with industrial outposts. And this one has natural beauty, which means that long-term happiness is increased by 2, so that means our happiness will go up for this particular place, which means I guess in theory it's a good place to build this, the population up in this particular spot. But for now, it's just the same to me. It's got this abundant stuff that we want to take advantage of. So we'll go ahead and build another industrial outpost. Now, I'm trying to keep track in my head how many we're doing and how many... we haven't built a ship station yet. A shipyard. So I guess that has to go here. Okay, good. Now I can actually see where things are. So Zoka is here and Zari is here. And so I built my shipyard in Zoka, which makes sense. I'm happy about that. And I built my research station in Zari. Good. Now I want more research stations, so I might cycle through one more time. I'll probably just pause the video while I do this and try to figure out where I want to build it. Okay, Zoka also had this rocky rare earth rich one. We have so many rare earth rich bonuses and so many industrial places that this is definitely going to be the place where I put a second research station. And I think that that's all the construction we're going to do. A lot of the other places are desert. Oh wait, this is one that I missed. Yeah, same thing here. This is only going to increase rare earths by 10%. Now where is Morum? Worm is here. I think I'm still going to go with, you know how I am. Tortuga's very long-term game focused. So I'm still going to go with... Oh, these are both good. So we can... Oh, Ship Graveyard gives you a 10% mineral extraction bonus, though. But I know for sure that Morum 1A is going to become a research outpost. Then the only question is whether or not Morum 3A is going to become another industrial complex, or if I should do another, building another ship outpost here. Shipyard. And this can produce tier 1 stuff, enables the construction of 3 units per turn, or, and in addition, a fleet base, provides 2 defense stations, so it does have some defensive capabilities, and increases the maximum number of higher admirals by 1. So that's our fleets. We'll need those for our fleets. I still think that research is going to trump that. So I'm going to go ahead and choose research instead. My plan here is, if we can take Gyoka, that would be a great place, assuming I can build something there and it's not all terribly like ice, or even if it's desert, that would be difficult. And that's a choke point, so we'd rather have a shipyard placed there, which will increase our defenses. But both of these, this is, you can see it's a choke point. Now, Babib is a choke point as well, but this system is all hazardous, so we can't build on it. Now, one thing we could do instead is upgrade the command beacon, so we will. And this is going to increase the defenses. You can see a normal system has level 1 garrison fleet, but this one in 3 turns will now have 5 defense stations and a level 2 garrison fleet. And I only did that because it's at a choke point, so you might as well upgrade it. The last thing I'm going to showcase here before we end this episode, because I guess we're getting a little long, running a little long here, is we might want to repair. We just got 3 new fleets, and these are nice snazzy fleets that have no equipment automatically attached. Oh, that's strange. Well, we'll go ahead and add the equipment for them then. This is always a good one to have, this damage reduction and damage increase for everyone. And I don't know why they didn't come with this self-repair protocol. They did for me last time, which is strange. Or was it these guys who came with it? Yeah, okay, these guys came with it. But some of them don't have it, and then we're still going to want to add this to it, and then there's a lot of equipment that you can add. It basically just costs... It's like, I think of this as like almost an RPG armoring your character or giving them special weapons. So it's just going to increase their capabilities whenever they fight. It's therefore better, in my opinion, to add the equipment rather than doing the one-off, like choosing a different strategy when you enter one particular battle. But that has a bigger impact too, I think. Now, our commanders also have bonuses and things that we might we can get better use out of them if we can take advantage of this. So this is artillery damage plus 10%, unit avoidance minus 5%. This would be very good if we could rework this guy to have a lot of artillery. Right now he has 4. And he has 4 carriers, and he only has 4 cruisers. So typically what you might see is something more like this. Here's 5 cruisers, this is the opposite, and 2 frigates with 2 carriers and 3 artillery. So this is 7 are cruisers and frigates, and this one is 8 are carriers and artillery. There is a way we can take advantage of that. This one, Capital Ship Reinforcement Kit, increases the damage and damage reduction of carriers and artillery. Well, that's not going to be good for us here, that'll be good for this guy. The one below it is increases damage and damage reduction of cruisers and frigates. So this is going to be a line ship reinforcement kit since it's mostly frigates and cruisers. We'll get benefit out of that. And this one is going to be the other one, Capital Ship Reinforcement, because it's mostly artillery and carriers. And last one I like to choose, when I can at least, is the environmental shielding. It's not important for us to do this yet, so I'll hold off for now. But hazards are very deadly in this game, and it's very helpful to have something to mitigate the damage that they inflict. Okay, so you are 4 cruisers, 5 cruisers, 2 frigates. You're another one of those with mostly with mostly cruisers and frigates. So we'll give you this one. And then the garrisons we don't have to worry about. Okay, so that's the final mechanic. How we're going to divvy up our forces. Well, if we can bring our fleets in and actually guard the places that we are currently in, then we can actually give some repair orders here. So this guy's 50, this guy's 28. This one's 91. Excuse me. So what we might want to do is move one here. I think we're going to want to move one to each of these systems, which is just going to give me the flexibility. I want to attack Gyoka. I know that. But I don't, at the same time, want to give up the ability to defend Babib. Especially when the garrison isn't constructed yet, and we're still building the level 2 thing that I built. So now we can give some repair orders, and it looks like this 28 is like got to be the primary one to be repaired because it's the worst off. Now you can see it has the repair icon. Now this will not participate in any defensive actions, and it cannot move for 2 turns. But after that, it'll be back up to full. Now the reason why you might not need to give repair orders for some of these fleets is that some of them do have, as this one does not, the self-repair protocol. And that just means if they don't move at all, they'll repair 10% by themselves. So that's nice because you can just move once, stop for a turn, get 10% back if you don't need to move, and then move again. Or, I mean, if you don't move and you're repairing 10%, you still participate in a defense. That's about all I can show right now. I mean, I certainly can show more. There's no restriction on what I can show. But it's just because this video is getting a little long in the teeth. I'll end the turn, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans go on with any cutscenes, and then we'll call the video to a close. And just because it is the first video, and maybe it's a one-off, maybe I'll continue doing a couple more. I could see this being a mini-series, like 3 or 5 episodes, but I don't expect that this will be a long series. If you wouldn't mind pressing the like button just to give it a little bit better visibility. Anyway, Sir, leaderships of the 1st Expeditionary Fleet and Al-Mustamara have established themselves here in the other systems, and they want to call an Earth War Council. And we're sending her because I'm actually not military and she is, so we'll be in the room, but yeah, let's just go to this. And this is the United States, and then as I said, we don't actually know, but Gretel Madan here is Admiral Gretel Madan. This I don't know what this is. The flavor is supposed to be representing. I have my guesses, but that's it. So good to meet you. They're talking about how it's a little awkward that I'm in control and not the Grand Admiral, but doesn't matter. Yeah, we had first contact. It didn't go well, but we've hit a soft spot now, so we're advancing. And we're learning how to translate the male Stirok. How do the rest of us view them? View us? Well, we haven't made contact with many of the other clans. Okay. So the other people that we have met of the same species or whatever, they don't appear to be defending the Roar clans. We only have to worry about them. Well, we can push on them, or we can say, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be so aggressive. And this is going to impact how the AI is going to expand. I'm going to let her decide, because she's going to choose to get the allies to remain active, and that takes the blood off my hands. But I do want them to be, since they're our allies, we do want them to push. Okay, good. So now it's our turn again, but I'll call the video to a close here. I hope that this preview was interesting, gives you a little insight about some game you might not have known about, or, a little bit more information about a game you've heard of. Until the next video, if it comes out or not, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.